There's going to be nothing like the female loneliness epidemic that you're going to see with this generation of women when they hit the 40s. It's going to be out of control.
Many years from now, there is going to be a quiet crisis. Loneliness in women, especially. Not because women failed, not because they weren't capable or intelligent, but because they were handed a script or a blueprint that left out the consequences. Be self-sufficient, put your career first, you don't need a man. So they followed it. They pushed love down the line. They delayed the family. They treated commitment like something that could always wait until it didn't. Fast forward a few years later. You're older, no partner, no children, no legacy, just some noise to fill that silence.
There's going to be nothing like the female loneliness epidemic that you're going to see with this generation of women when they hit the 40s. It's going to be out of control. When these 20-somethings hit 40-something, there's going to be massive devastation. There's going to be, the pharmaceutical companies are going to be like, yeah, cashing in on the antidepressants and all of that if they go that route.
If you take a look at the screen right here, these are the most popular searches currently for the past few days or so on this app. And if you see here, struggling with loneliness has the highest search popularity with 1.55 million search popularity. When I tapped on the struggling with loneliness search popularity here, we can see that in the past 7 days, it's gone up by 344%. My mind immediately jumped to what all the news articles in mainstream media are pointing to as a big problem in our country, and that is the, quote, male loneliness epidemic. But see, something that this app also lets you do is you can look at the demographics of who's searching this, and you'll be surprised to see that of the searches, 78% searching that they're struggling with loneliness on this app are women, females, with 96% of them being here in the United States. And it looks as though that it's mostly millennials and Gen Z.
Notice how for years the media pushed this male loneliness narrative like we were the ones broken and desperate. Now the actual data comes out and shows it's women spiraling at 78%. They spent so much time devaluing men and pushing this hyper-independent script that they forgot they eventually have to live with the isolation they built. It's a loud silence when the validation online stops hitting the same and reality sets in.
But I think that is what makes singleness so hard sometimes. Singleness is not hard all the time. I have not struggled with my singleness like in my 10 years of being single. It comes in waves, it comes and goes. But that is what is hard sometimes about singleness. And it just sucks, and it's understandable, and you grow up and you navigate that with your girlfriends. And I am at my wit's end, and no one can tell me anything. I am at my wit's end. I'm at my wit's end, and after a really wonderful night of taking myself out, I am ending it in tears. Because even though I had an amazing night tonight, I am still coming home alone, and it bothers me, it hurts, it's uncomfortable, and I'm not used to it, so I can complain about it.
Man, they really convinced themselves that dating themselves was the ultimate flex. 10 years of this I don't need a man energy, and now taking yourself out for a nice dinner ends in a puddle of tears. You played yourself trying to prove a point to the world. It's funny how fast that independent pride disappears when there's no one there to zip up your dress or ask how your night was.
I've been single my entire life. I'm going to be turning 42 in August, and I've never had anybody love me or desire me or want to be with me. And I have so much love that I feel like that is inside of me with nowhere to go because it can't transfer to friends or my family or my parents because it's something separate, it's something different. And I've gathered all of this love since I was in high school, and then it just sits there and it eats me alive sometimes. And I'm bringing this up, oh my gosh, I just slammed my hand off of that. Sorry, I'm bringing this up because I'm lonely and sad and the world is hard and horrible. And I was thinking this morning that like no one's laid next to me in bed. I've never had the comfort of someone's arms around me. When I've had difficult moments, I've gotten through them, by myself most of the time. Now I have a beautiful family of brothers and my mother and my dad when he was alive, and I love them. I'm grateful for them. But there's something different about having somebody that's there for you, next to you, with you, and it's a different kind of loneliness if you've been single all of your life. And I know that there are people who get this. There are people who follow me that get this.
Nah, brah, I'm not feeling the world is hard and horrible pity party when you spent a lifetime dodging accountability. You mean to tell me in over 20 years of adulthood, not a single decent man crossed your path? Stop it. You just filtered out the guys who actually wanted to love you because they didn't fit a checklist. You cannot ignore men for 40 years and then expect us to feel bad that the silence in your house is getting too loud.
So I've been seeing some videos on my For You page, and I think that it is finally time to discuss the female loneliness epidemic. Because I know the men have had their own thing, and I'm not here to talk about that. I'm not a man, right? But I will say that the men are more built for it than us. We are not built for this shit, ladies. We don't know how to be alone. These men have been bottling up their emotions and not sharing them with anybody since they were 6, 7, 8 years old. Some of us have never done that. We've always had someone to talk to, a friend, a family member, a significant other, something. And it seems like in 2025, the girls are running out of options because the dating market is terrible. Y'all are literally making fun of girls that are in happy, healthy relationships, saying that having a boyfriend is embarrassing, miserables. And then y'all also don't have any friends because anytime somebody reposts something that you disagree with, oh, that's how you feel about immigration policy? You're not my friend anymore. Now y'all don't have any freaking friends. Like it's not gonna end well if your requirement for somebody to have a relationship with you is that they have to be on the exact same page with you 100% of the time. No one is. We are all people with our own thoughts, feelings, emotions, and ideas. And if you don't respect that in another person, then of course you're going to be by yourself. There's no one else that's going to fit that mold. I'll have to learn healthy communication skills. You have to learn healthy relationship skills. Go to therapy if you need to, do something. But if you are sitting at home right now and you don't have 5 friends that you can call, no man, and your family members just don't get you, I promise the only common denominator in all of those scenarios is...
It's exhausting to hear that even when a woman tries to break down the problem, she still dismisses male pain as something we're just built for. We aren't built for loneliness. We just learned to survive it because nobody was coming to save us. To see women actively tearing down other women who find good men and isolating themselves over minor differences is just tragic. This modern mindset ruined real community, and they're only waking up because it's hitting them now.
This is a little bit of a plea to all my girlies in their late 30s and early 40s, because I think I need to hear from you, because I'm feeling lots of feelings at the minute, and I just need to know if anyone else is feeling those feelings so I can feel a little bit less alone. I'm 37 and a half and I'm single. I've never been married. I don't have children and I live alone, and I am increasingly feeling... If you're feeling the same, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Almost no one else in my life is in a similar life stage. The people that I see on social media are maybe feeling the same, but they may be in their late 20s, early, maybe mid 30s. And I just think it's different at 37 than it was at 36 than it was at 35. And I'm sure it's going to be different at 38, 39 plus.
I'm not buying into this plea for sympathy when you spent a lifetime ignoring the writing on the wall. You mean to tell me at 35, 36, and now 37, you just noticed it gets harder to find a partner when you wait until the last minute? Stop it. You filtered out good men for years because they didn't match a fantasy. And now that you're in the house alone, you want to act like the world changed on you overnight. You made your bed, now you got to sleep in it.
I'm 38 years old. I've never been married. I've never had children. I have 3 cats in my house. Only 2 of them are mine. But it's another Christmas that is about to come and go where my relationship status is the same. And it's crazy because if you had asked me 10 years ago if I would be single at 38, I would have been like, absolutely not. And if I am, then just me now, you know? Here's one of my kitties. Look at this little baby girl. This is Willow. Say hi, Willow. And I have such a complicated relationship with this time of year. I really do. Because I have a complicated relationship with being single. There's a part of me that really values my life and my time to myself and my independence. And then there's a part of me that feels really embarrassed about admitting that I want to be in a relationship. And I think a big part of that is it makes me feel like maybe I'm being needy or I'm being clingy and all these like, I don't know what it is, but it's almost embarrassing. It is. I feel embarrassed to be 38 and single and never married. I also think a part of me feels forgotten by God or the universe because I feel like I've done so much internal work on myself, and yet I feel like I can't seem to attract my person into my life. And even saying all of this out loud feels really cringy, which is why I'm making myself say it out loud and admit it.
Don't play the victim and act like the universe is doing you dirty when you made the choices that got you here. You spent a decade prioritizing your independence over real partnership, and now at 38 you want to call wanting a man cringe. Stop the games, man. You weren't forgotten. You just disqualified every average guy who didn't fit a perfect script, and now you have to live with the quiet house you built. Take some accountability for the energy you put out.
Well, I'm going to be turning 39 a week from tomorrow, and I am still single, and that makes me sad. Yeah, my own cats are running from me. If you had told 25-year-old Rihanna that on her 39th birthday she would still be unmarried with no children, I would have laughed in your face or been so angry in disbelief because that is not what I envisioned for my life. In my early 20s, I was never that girl that wanted to get married right away and have a young family. I wanted to be able to experience life. But probably around 25, 26 is when I was like, I do want to be married. And it has just never happened for me for whatever reason. And I have spent years wondering what is wrong with me. Is there something about me? Am I just not supposed to ever be with someone? And the reality is I don't know if I will ever find my person. And I hope that I do. And I want to have children. But at what point do you let that dream go? And I know that like there's still time. 39, you can still have children. There's still time to accomplish all of those things. But it does make me sad to be going into another year of my life without anyone.
It's funny how they always say it never happened for them for whatever reason. We all know the reason. You spent years disqualifying good, solid brothers because they didn't fit the experience life fantasy. Now you're almost 40, your own cats are ducking you, and you're still talking about there's still time to have kids. That biological clock doesn't care about your envisioning. It keeps ticking while you're busy being unready for a real man.
I just want to vent for a minute about how being single is actually really hard. And I don't know if people in relationships actually realize how hard and lonely it actually is. I was sick last night, like in the middle of the night, and I'm single. So once again, I was reminded of just like how shit it is to be single and you just have to do everything on your own. I had no one to take care of me. I just had to take care of myself. Like I had no one making sure I was okay, rub my back, no one to like bring me a glass of water and like tuck me up into bed. And it's not like I don't have people that don't care, but like it's not the same level of care as if you had a partner. I am no one's number one most important person in their life, and sometimes that is just a really shitty, lonely, just sad feeling.
You don't get to demand the loyalty and care of a devoted partner when you've probably spent your best years moving like a free agent. You want to be someone's number one, but what are you actually doing to earn that spot in a man's life? They want the unconditional care, the late-night water, the back rubs, but they refuse to compromise, submit, or actually respect the men who provide that stability. You demanded the solo life, so wrap yourself in that blanket and tough it out alone.
As women, can't we just be honest about the fact that a lot of girls aren't lonely because they can't find a decent man who's respectable, or men aren't men anymore? They're lonely because the expectations of what they want out of a relationship do not equate with who they are in relationships. You say you want a man who's emotionally mature, but whenever you're losing an argument, you start crying. That's emotional manipulation. Some of y'all want a man who's consistent, but you don't even post content consistently.
let alone go to the gym consistently. And don't get me started on the meal plan you said you were going to start 3 weeks ago for your winter arc. You want a man with great communication skills, but you crashed out on the last one because you thought he was gaslighting you or manipulating you or he was a narcissist. Stop letting people get you out of character. That means you don't have good communication skills. All I'm saying is you can't expect a high value partner when you are not a high value partner. This fantasy idea that all the men are the bad ones and all the girls are just 10 out of 10s waiting for someone perfect. You're not perfect. 10 out of 10 is perfect. You're not perfect. And neither is the man that is also on your level. But you won't even give him a chance because in your mind, you're a 10 and he's a 5. But in reality, you're both 6s. Sit with that. The uncomfortable truth here, ladies, is that the dating market and the men are not the only problem. For a lot of the girls, self-awareness is the problem. Because you can't want better when you're not better.
Man, I had to rewind that part where she told them they're actually 6s holding out for a 10. The reality check is beautiful. They spend all day hyping each other up in the comments, convinced they're flawless prizes, while bringing absolutely zero piece of value to the table. It's hilarious watching the exact same talking points we've been dragged for years for saying finally come out of a woman's mouth. Look, we've been sitting here watching these clips all day, and the pattern is just undeniably sad. For the last decade, the mainstream propaganda sold women a dream that hyper-independence was the ultimate prize. They were told to prioritize the lifestyle, put up walls, and treat a good man like he was just a disposable option or a stepping stone. And if we ever spoke up about the reality of how this ends, we got handed the hate card and told we were just intimidated. Now look at the timeline. You got millions of women in their late 30s and 40s crying to their phone cameras because that independent energy doesn't keep the house warm when the holidays roll around or when they catch a cold. They want to call it a loneliness epidemic now, but they're still refusing to take accountability for the bridges they burned to get here. You can't spend your best years telling men we are the enemy, offering absolutely zero peace or cooperation, and then expect us to be waiting at the finish line to save you from an isolation you actively chose. Men didn't disappear, man. We just woke up, realized the juice wasn't worth the squeeze, and stopped playing a rigged game. If y'all are rocking with the truth and want to see more of these real breakdowns, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. We keeping it 100 over here.